Welcome to There Is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell, and I am an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs, and I've been in business since 1994. Today I'm going to talk about physiologically what we as human beings are good at or supposed to be good at. So you better listen in. I want to thank our sponsors, Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. They are flat out the best. Consummate professionals, degrees in the field, which I think is absolutely so important. Not only does it mean that you have more knowledge than a person who, say, doesn't, but it also means that you're dedicated to being the best at what you can do. So if you want any information on real estate or whatever, check them out at thegildengroup.com. All right, so what are we supposed to be good at? Do you remember that book about maybe 10 years ago by the author McDougall called Born to Run? And a lot of his research was taken from the fact that they found out one of the reasons why human beings were able to survive and then eventually thrive is because we're able to go at fairly slow speeds, but for very long distances. We're able to tolerate the heat better than other mammals because of the fact that we don't have all the body hair. Or I should say, thankfully, most of us do not. Some might. So if you're trying to cool down, you may want to get a razor and, shave that back if that's a problem for you. But other than that, that's one of the reasons why. Another reason is that we are able to go long distances. So it's not only about heat, but also the ability to go long distances on our feet, even if it's not overly fast. Like we're not nearly as fast as other animals that can reach up to 60 miles per hour. Humans aren't going to do that. But those animals that can go 60 miles per hour have to rest after a burst and rest and so on. So it's kind of like the old story of the tortoise and the hare. And we are more of the tortoise, but we don't stop. So that is one theory pretty recognized by sociologists, and we add to that there is more evidence to say that not only are we designed to be able to endure and outlast, because again, we're not overly athletic as a species. We can't jump extremely high compared to other animals. We can't run fast, as I already stated. And as far as strength goes, none of us wants to get into a ring with a gorilla. We're going to lose. So we don't have those abilities. But again, we have great endurance. We can go at fairly moderate speeds for a very long period of time. So we're kind of like that jack of all trade type of thing. And due to that, we could flee and get away and keep going from more speedier creatures. Now, but what also is very interesting about that is we also are unique in our ability to carry things. And this research isn't new, but it's pretty interesting when we really look at it. I should say it's fairly new, like within the last decade or so. We are very unique in our ability to carry. Now, when you think about that, it's interesting, right? So think about, say you had to run down some prey and you can't really sit there and eat it if that's the case, because now you will be prey yourselves, literally like sitting ducks, right? So we had the ability to then pick it up and carry it away. Now, some other animals can do that as well, but they do that in packs, right? So with us, we have the ability to carry something and move it from place to place. Now, when you think about it, we don't see that too often, do we? I mean, when we do, it's absolutely pretty cool. So little, funny story on that. My kitty cat, Pebble, she is notorious for picking up Bic pens, any kind of pens really, but for some reason she likes Bic pens. And she puts it in her mouth and she'll carry it to various places of my house. Now she'll put one on my bed, she'll put it anywhere. So for me, I always get this, notion, because, I can be kind of spiritual and maybe out there a little bit, but, I'm getting this like message, Pebble's getting word from God that I'm supposed to write more, So whether that's true or not really doesn't matter. I can believe what I want, right? But what is very funny to other people, to us actually, is watching Pebble carry this big pen in her mouth and drop it in various places. Now, she will steal other things and do that, and I don't see cats do that too much. But outside of that, we don't really see the animals, other animal species, carrying things, right? We don't see that too often. I mean, maybe in their mouth, of course. But as far as like in their arms, I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? If we start seeing a lot more of that. So to make a long story short, which I know you're going to say too late, is that is one of our unique capabilities, is the ability to carry. So more and more and more, we're seeing that as sort of become a fitness craze. So the method to the madness gets to the bottom of why this might be. You're starting to see more and more people out there rucking. It's a military thing where you carry a pack, and now they have special rucking packs and all that, and of course they do. I mean, we live in a capitalism, so somebody's going to make a buck, and it's not the end of the world as long as you're buyer beware and realize you can probably do this in various ways without having to get a special pack for rucking. But in any event, that's why you're starting to see that, because the armed forces are realizing that that is a critical fitness ability of people that are in infantry and soldiers. They have to be able to go long distances, and they have to be able to carry things. Like, if you can't carry things, what good are you, right, to the military? So we need that balance of endurance, but that is like functional strength. All right, you might say, well, I'm not going in the armed forces anytime soon, and last I checked, I can go, get my carrots at Target or whatever, and I don't have to carry my food very far. That's absolutely true. But see, the problem with that is our body isn't designed, isn't geared, wasn't built, doesn't evolve in today's very convenient society. So no pun intended, there are no free lunches. So when we don't do what our body is really geared to do, we start to pay the price in some of our health, and absolutely in this case of carrying things, our strength and our functional ability to be able to keep our back strong, our core strong, and everything strong. So sure, we have modern conveniences that has basically superseded our biological abilities. But that doesn't mean that our bodies just go, oh, okay. No, we pay the price, right? And I'm not just talking about this. I'm talking about in every area of health and fitness. If we don't do what our body is biologically designed to do, we start to have more health problems. So we have to figure out, what is it about us that we need to make sure we train? So the simple answer is, this is a combination of strength and endurance. Of course, we know that, or hopefully we know that. The American College of Sports Medicine has its guidelines of 150 to 300 minutes per week of physical activity, and that's for cardio mostly, and then 2 to 3 days a week of strength training, right? But then we can take it a step further and say, so what are we really designed to do? So it does mean we might want to think about adding more carrying type exercises into our lives. There's a couple that live near me. I live maybe a half a mile from Target and Lowe's. There's a couple that lives near me that I often see. Husband and wife, I imagine, or partners of sorts, are carrying their bags, their reusable bags, but whatever, filled up one in each arm, and they walk to the grocery store, and then I see them walking back with their 2 bags of groceries in each hand. I mean, that is so functional. You are already increasing your heart rate by adding loads in your hands. So that's already a given. So you're getting more of a cardiovascular workout when you do that. But you're also getting strength, of course, right? Because if you're holding these bags, that's working your bicep muscles. That's working your tricep muscles. That's working your deltoids and your traps. And then obviously, well, I keep saying obviously, maybe you don't know this, but we shouldn't be bent over, because if we're bent over, we're going to have problems with our back. So we have to keep our chest up, which keeps our core engaged. I mean, you can do sit-ups all day long if you want to, or crunches, but nothing is going to be better than carrying a load and walking distances with it for your core. Nothing is going to make it stronger. Nothing is going to make it happier, because the muscles want to do what they were born to do. All right? So those are just 2 things that we're genetically supposed to do. We're supposed to be able to move, hence walking, and we're supposed to be able to carry. Well, we are able to carry, but if we don't do it, it's the old use it or lose it. How many times do we go to an airport now? I mean, look, we're all guilty of it. A lot of times it's due to convenience and speed and, having to catch a flight, but everybody is pulling their suitcases behind them. So in the world of convenience, everything's been made to be so much easier. We really don't even carry our suitcases anymore. Rarely do you see anybody carrying a suitcase. They're all the pull behinds, right? Occasionally you'll see a backpack for carry on, but most of the time it's the pull behinds. Again, I get it. There's going to be 2 forces against us all the time in capitalism as well. Usually it's the comfort people, capitalists, that win, right? They're going to be the ones that say, oh, catch your flight, don't want to carry these heavy bags. These pull-behind suitcases are made for you. And then, of course, there literally is the people movers now that you see like at OIA, Orlando International Airport, where you literally can just stand on it and it moves you. So sure, all these things have been made to benefit people. And I say that like with, is it really a benefit? But what is it doing to our health? If you can remember just maybe 25 years ago, everybody's lugging their suitcases in, then they have to pick it up and put it in the overhead bin at the airport. I mean, still kind of have to do that, but that's the most we'll exercise on a flight, when in the old days you had to walk pretty good distance carrying your suitcase. That's just one example. But the point is we don't do these things that we used to do. Now in the gym, we call these farmer carries. So that means we carry a load. There's 2 ways to do it. There's that way. So those are farmer carry. You carry a load and you go a distance with it. That works your endurance, that works your strength. It works almost everything. And then there is the rucking you can do, where you're carrying a load like in a backpack type thing, and you're going for longer distances because you don't have to worry about your grip giving out. But these are just things that we can do to add some spice to our workouts. And it absolutely is what the body is craving. So think about that. Try it in different ways. Just try different things. Carry more things. Carry more things. So I did that yesterday when I went and picked up my 5-gallon water refills at Lowe's. They got the handles on them, but I carry one on one arm and one on the other, and I do a farmer's carry to the truck. So it's things like that. Little added things we can do that in the old days our ancestors never called exercise. It's just what we did. And we were in far better shape back then, right? So think about that this week. And now, speaking of that, Zach, one of the owners of Overhead Door Company of Daytona Beach, along with his father, Jeff, Zach just left and he did a nice little farmer carry of 45 pounds in each hand, doing a 1/4 mile. That's hard work. It took him about 6 minutes. That's definitely busting his rump. Now we're doing that because it's going to be one of our events in the MaxFit Games. So this is a man that definitely is accustomed to physical work, as is his dad. And that's probably one of the reasons why they have the best overhead door company in all of the area. And we're just lucky to have the best one locally here in Daytona Beach. So if you need a garage door, give them a shout at Overhead Door Daytona.com.